The energy and mining and AI actually goes hand in hand, and they've at AIG is at a unique advantage now that they've identified that they can get surplus energy at a much lower cost.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Adrian Rowles, financial advisor advising Active Energy Group's digital treasury strategy. Adrian, very good to meet you. AEG's just come out of an oversubscribed capital raise, so a big vote of confidence in the company and its strategy.
Yes, agreed. It's very good to see that the 2.5 million was raised and oversubscribed, as you stated, and that just shows investors are very confident and have a good long-term future view of both growth and value creation.
Well, maybe taking a step back, Adrian, for viewers new to the story, could you give us a brief introduction to AEG and its three core pillars?
AEG is a alternative energy company that deploys renewable infrastructure. So their core strategy is to deliver long-term income generating renewable assets, but that is based on three pillars. So one is the solar pillar, solar and battery area. And then the second is global energies linked to harnessing lower cost energy. And then the digital crypto or digital treasury strategy.
So as you mentioned, AEG's just raised £2.5 million. How's this fresh capital going to accelerate the rollout of those projects and strategies?
Well, firstly, it would allow them to advance with their already, their initial pipeline. They've secured 10 commercial rooftop solar and battery projects already, so it'll allow them to advance that. And also in the pipeline, they've got an extensive, in excess of 30 megawatt in the pipeline already. So it will allow them to attack that more aggressively and expand on what their success already.
Adrian, the company is also planning to use surplus renewable energy for AI, data hosting, and even Bitcoin mining in the UAE. What's the vision behind that?
The energy and mining and AI actually goes hand in hand, and AIG is at a unique advantage now that they've identified that they can get surplus energy at a much lower cost. And this is an area where the supply of energy is not keeping up with the demand required to fulfill in these industry sectors. So AEG wants to be like at the forefront and be involved and exposed in that area, of course, going forward.
Investors will want to know how you balance opportunity with risk. How does the company manage the volatility and regulatory uncertainty around digital assets?
Digital assets have been viewed as more volatile than traditional assets. However, that volatility is reducing now that it's becoming more of a recognized new asset class. So the strategy is part of a really developed and thought through strategy where we're using diversification and the right digital assets at the right time that factor in the different business cycles and different movements and on-chain movements. There's a lot to it. So I'd like to talk more about that another time. I can get more involved in that.
Well, Adrian, you've also set a policy to hold up to 30% of Treasury in digital assets. What's the strategic rationale and how do you decide when to allocate?
I think 30% is a good number, a good balanced approach, because again, this is a new asset class and a new way of raising capital, notoriously promoted by Michael Saylor. But a lot of more companies are getting involved with digital treasury strategies, and 30% seems like a good rounded, balanced approach. So that you have some exposure without having too much exposure, but it must be deployed with the right strategy to manage that volatility.
And from your perspective as crypto strategist, how does integrating digital assets and blockchain with renewable energy position Active Energy for growth over the next few years?
I think this comes back to an earlier point where we're talking about they've got access to much lower cost energy. So that puts them a strategic advantage as they expand into this world of supplying energy through alternative energy suppliers, and also they can resell that onto third-party clients. So think of like the Bitcoin miners that need huge amount of power. They can get that at a reduced cost.
Adrian, I look forward to chatting with you in the future about that crypto strategy. Thank you very much, though, for the introduction today.
Thank you again. Thanks.
Adrian Rowles, Treasury Advisor to Active Energy Group.